I'm doing everything. I'm helping people how to invest in real estates or in touchable assets. And at this point, thank you for your time at a Thursday evening, 7 p.m. And I hope you will get something out of this meeting. And if you have some question, and just write it in the chat. And later on, after my presentation, we will have some time to go through all the questions. And I just saw we had some question about Alicia's presentation, and I think we can answer all the questions later on too. So would like to share my screen. First of all, who of you does somebody of you own in real estate in Germany already? Okay, some people they own, okay.
You mean to live in?
To live in, or just a real estate, maybe for investment? Does anybody own in real estate?
No.
No? So the question is, what's the difference between a real estate for investment with taxes and real estate if you live in the real estate? So the question is, I have three questions today. Do we get a tax return with a real estate for investment or with an own home? Second question, why do we get a tax return? And the third question, how does it look like? And I will do a calculation. I will show you in the exact calculation. I will show you the exact how the Finanzamt or how the government calculates the tax return. And as I said, if you have a question, you can just ask, and I will explain it in detail. So I'm gonna share my screen. First of all, does anybody know if you buy a real estate in Germany? Do you know that we have to pay site cost if you want to buy a property at the beginning? Do you know that we have to pay site costs in Germany? And if you know, do you know how much percent you have to pay to the government or to the court, whatever?
It's
Does anybody?
3 bis 5%.
3 bis 5%, okay. One moment, somehow I cannot join with my iPad to share my screen. Excuse me one moment.
So it depends on the state you are in. So the costs you pay.
Okay, it depends on the state. Okay, do you know what's the average tax we have to pay in Germany, roundabout?
I think it's about between 4 and 8%. So typically that's the
4 and 8%. Okay, that's correct. It always depends on the state we live in. For example, in Bavaria, you have to pay 3.5%. In Hessen, for example, you have to pay 6%. In Baden-Württemberg, you have to pay 5%. In Hamburg, I guess it's around about 6% too. So it always depends on the state. So we got the first number with let's say an average of 5%. So let's say I think, or I hope everybody can see my screen. Let's say we have a real estate which costs 250,000 euros. This is the price of the real estate. Okay, we talked about let's say 5% in average. This is the tax which we have to pay to the government. It's because you buy the property, you have to pay some tax to the government. So from 250,000 euros, this would be 12,500 euros. Which other costs do we have with connected with real estate in the beginning? Do you know?
Makler cost.
Makler cost, okay. Do you know what's the average makler cost in Germany? Like real estate agency cost? Roundabout?
It is about 3% of the total value.
3%. I'm with you. 3% is the average real estate agent cost. Okay. So 3% would be 7,500 euros. What's another cost? What maybe somebody know of you?
It's a notary cost that you have to pay. Notar.
Just roundabout, what do you think, or maybe you know?
It's about 1.5 to 2%.
1.5, yeah, it's exactly the middle. If you calculate, it's around about 1.75%, but let's take the 2%. It always depends on the notary and always depends on the registration fee. I would count it like a registration fee because you have to pay to the court because your name will be written down in the book. And the lawyer, in this case, the notary, it's around about 2%. So we would have altogether 5,000 euros. So at the end, if it's for your own home, as an own home, or if it's in real estate for investment, you have to pay at the end like side cost. If you do this with a real estate agent, altogether round about 10%. There's a saying 110%. This is what in real estate costs, like 100% for the price, 10% on top for the side cost. So let's say, okay, altogether we have 275,000 euros. This is the total amount of money. And now let's see with real estate for investment about an own home. I will talk a little bit later. So now let's see about with the real estate for investment. Let's take the 275,000 euros. This is the price. And let's say you rent it out and you bought a 60 square meter apartment. What do you think? What would be the average rent which you would get, let's say in a normal location, not downtown Hamburg, not down Frankfurt or Stuttgart, but let's say in a good location. What do you think, roundabout?
About 1,300 to 1,500.
1,300? But then it's downtown somewhere. Yeah. Let's take the 10 euros for 1 square meter. Okay, 600 euros of rent. I'm not talking about bigger cities and not downtown, but around the cities. Let's talk about 600 euros. Okay, so in Germany there's a rule. If we talk about real estate for investment, the government or the Finanzamt, they look at this real estate. It's like in business. You do money, but you have also expenses. So every time if you have an item which does money, for example, if you're a businessman, you buy an iPhone or you buy a phone, and there's always a depreciation time. Okay, and this depreciation time for an iPhone, for example, it's 5 years. So for every item in Germany, if you do money with this item, there's a special time, there's a special period. So for example, 5 years a vacuum cleaner, it's around about 3 years. And real estate, it's for 50 years. So the question is, how does the Finanzamt calculates this depreciation? So let's take the 275,000 euros. And now you see, we don't take the 250,000, not only the price, but also every side cost on top. And the government says the 15%, like 15% is for the land where the building is built on. So the land you cannot, like the tenant cannot use, so it cannot be used, or they use it somehow, but there's no depreciation during the 50 years. But the building, the roof, the entrance, the bathroom, the wall, the floor, 85% of this price. In this case, we can calculate 275,000 euros. We take 85%, would be 233,750 euros. This is something which we can calculate for the tax declaration. So from these 233,750 euros, 2% is something which we can declare as an expense to the government. So let's calculate 2% out of this number would be 4,675 euros. This is what you can do, or what you can declare 50 years in a row. So there's a saying in Germany, and everything what I'm talking about today, you can Google. It's not a secret, but I think nobody will explain it in detail like this. But the 2%, 50 years in a row, you see, you can declare 100% of the price of the building to the Finanzamt as an expense during the next 50 years. So it could happen if you sell the real estate after 20 years, the next owner, he can do this for the next 50 years, like the same way. Okay, so let's take the number, or let's remember this number for later on. And let's also see, if you take the loan from the bank, in this case, the 250,000 euros, because right now the banks, they always want at least the side cost, which you have to pay from your pocket. Most of the banks say at least the 10%. So let's take the 250,000 euros. This is what you take from the bank. And let's calculate with the current interest charge of 4.5%. This is the interest charge. And the 1.5%, this is something, it's the down payment. Okay, we don't have to talk about down payment because the down payment is something we cannot calculate for the tax declaration. So 250,000 euros, and we take 4.5%. Now I want to calculate, okay, how much do we pay for this real estate in the first year when you start the loan? So 250K, 4.5% would be 11,250 euros in the first year. It's the second number we can take for the tax declaration. And now let's calculate with an average employee. And I know expats, they earn a little bit more than Germans. So at least 55,000, yeah, that's how it is. At least 55,000 euros is what I think, or what I guess. Let's take 60,000 euros. Oops. Let's take 60,000 euros. Do you know how much percentage do you have to pay, like salary tax in Germany for 60,000? Let's say you're a single guy or a single woman. 60,000, what do you think, how much percent do you pay to the government? Does anybody know?
No one is single.
No one is single, okay.
Kidding.
No one is single, okay.
39%.
Should be around about 40%, maybe more, 41, 42%.
Yeah.
Let's take a lower number. Let's take the 35%, and maybe as Alice said, not everybody is single. Maybe there are some which are married. So let's take the 35% from 60,000 euros of salary.
But for single, it's really because I've been both, so I know. So back and forth. So it's 42. There was like a good comment on the chat. So with single people, in 60 is like 42 to 42%, and then for marriage people, it's like in 35. It's a good average.
It always depends on your tax class. That's the saying, like 4, 3, 1, 2, 5, whatever. As a single person, you're in number 1. Then you pay most of the taxes. So 42 is not bad. And let's take the 35. From 60,000, 35% would be 21,000 euros in 1 year. Okay, this is what you pay during the year. It's not at the end of the year, but it's with every salary you pay part of the 21,000 euros. Now it comes to the tax declaration. And a tax declaration is something, it's really easy. I mean, it always looks like it's difficult, but tax declaration, you have to show the government, listen, this is my income. This was my income last year. These are my expenses. And now it's up to you. It's up to the tax consultant, how good he is or how good you are. And it's up to him, okay, about your private expenses, I don't know. How often did you go to work? Because every kilometer, this is what you can count for the tax declaration. But I will show you everything connected with real estate for investment. So on the left side, we have, let's write it down. We have the income, and we have an income of salary of 60,000 euros. And on top of the 60,000 euros, because you have in real estate for investment, we also have to count the rent which you get from the tenant. So we talked about 600 euros, and we have to take 12 months. So this would be 7,200 euros in the first year. Okay, this is the income. If you have more income because you rent out some garage or whatever, maybe you have a side job, whatever, yeah, that's up to you, and it's up to the tax consultant. That's, I mean, this is what he has to count and declare to the government. So let's see. This is the most important part. On the right side, how does it look like with the expenses? And it's, as I said, it's up to you or up to the tax consultant if he knows what you can calculate or what you can like declare. Then you have a really good point to get a lot of tax back. So we already saw in the beginning, or in the when we started with the numbers, we saw the depreciation with 4,675 euros. So this is the first number we can write on the right side, 4,605 euros. This is the AFA. AFA means Abschreibung für Abnutzung, depreciation. So this number will be calculated in the first tax declaration after buying the real estate, and it will be saved at the Finanzamt, and in the next years you will not have to mention it. They will take the number because, yeah, it's in the system. It's the first number. The second number we also calculated. This is the loan, the interest charge. The down payment we cannot calculate or we cannot declare, but the interest charge, this is something you pay. This is because you borrowed the money from the bank. This is an expense connected with the real estate for investment. So it was, how much was it? 11,250 euros Zinsen. This is, I will write down the German words, Zinsen. Now it's really interesting which numbers could be also declared to the government. The third number would be the management. Imagine you have a management which takes care about a new tenant, which takes care about the site cost calculation at the end of the year, which takes care about some renovation, which takes care about any problems. And the management cost, let's say 60 euros in 1 month times 12 months, would be 720 euros of management cost in 1 year. Because you are the owner, you have to pay the management. Now, the next number would be, for example, you travel to the apartment every second, every third month, and every kilometer. If you travel by car, it's like your job, 30 cents for 1 kilometer. And let's say we have traveling cost round about 150 euros. Always up to you or the tax consultant if he lists all these costs. Next amount of money. Let's say you have an insurance, or you have insurances, Rechtsschutz, for example. I hope everybody knows what is Rechtsschutz. It's one insurance. Let's say you have another insurance if you want to be safe if the tenant doesn't want to pay. There's an insurance. It's not a lot of money, but everything connected with the real estate for investment is something we can declare. So let's say we have 400 euros of insurances in 1 year. The next number, in the beginning, registration fee, there's an amount of money. It's something which we can declare in the first declaration after buying in real estate. It's the Grundschuldbestellung. With this amount of money, around about 500 euros in the first year. So I will write it down, one-time site cost. Let's say we have an average renovation cost, 500 euros every year. Let's say over 10 years, 5,000 euros. 500 euros of renovation. And then all the small amounts of money, like flat rates, amount of money for phone calling, for letters, whatever. These are numbers I will not mention, but let's see how this would influence your salary tax guild in this year with only one real estate for investment. And we have to calculate at the end, we have to calculate all the numbers on the right side and on the left side. On the left side, it's really easy. 67,200 euros, this is the total income. On the right side, now it gets really interesting. 4,675 plus 11,250 plus 720 plus 150 plus 400 plus 500 plus 500. We have altogether 18,159 euros of expenses. And you see a lot of expenses, or in part of expenses you did not really pay. For example, this one, this is something you don't pay, but you can declare as an expense. Now it comes to the calculation. We saw in the beginning, we had 60,000 euros of salary, and we had a salary tax guild of 21,000. Okay, 21,000 of 35%. And now it comes to the new calculation. So now we have to take the whole amount of money of income, 67,200 minus 18,195. So altogether we have a new income, 67,200 minus 18,195. Now your new income would be 49,000 euros. And from 49,000 euros, 35% would be 17,151 euros. So this is your new tax guild from this year, or for the year where you bought the real estate for investment. Now you see 21,000 minus 17,151. Your tax return would be, with one real estate for investment, around about 3,848 euros. I do a lot of calculations with a lot of tenant clients, and it's round about 250 to 300 euros for one real estate. It depends on your tax class, it depends on your income, it depends on the real estate, it depends on the interest charge. It always depends on the income because of the rent. So it's an individual calculation which we do in individual consultations. So, but this is something what I could say right now in the current situation with this price of real estate, around about 250 to 300 euros in one month. And there are two options. Option number one, you write this real estate for investment in your salary tax card, so you get more netto from your job, from your company, because it reduces your salary tax guild. Or you pay more, like you pay for this real estate, and at the end of the year, you do the tax declaration, or in the beginning of the next year, and you get the whole amount of money from the government back. Okay, this is these two options we have, but this is something, as I said, I always explain in individual consultations. So now let's see how does it look like after 10 years, because this I mentioned already, and yeah, it's one of the biggest benefits we have with real estate for investment. I mean, this is something you want to earn money with this real estate, and at the end, after 10 years, you can sell the real estate, and you don't have to pay any tax for the profit. Now let's see how this would look like. And I did a calculation with two different percentage. Let's say you buy a real estate for investment today for 250,000 euros. And let's calculate with 2% of increasing every year. After 10 years, we would have a new value, a new price of 304,748 euros with only 2%. I can tell you, and nobody knows what's happening in the future, what will happen in the future, okay? Nobody knows. Nobody has a, I say there's no glass bubble or whatever, where we can look in and say, okay, we will have 10% each year. Nobody knows. But we have a lot of, there's a big need of real estate in Germany. So why should the real estate, why should the price not go up? I can tell you, and that's how I think, what happened in the last 40 years. Then we take the numbers from the last 40 years, and then we can say, okay, in the future, it will look like this, almost like this, at least almost like this. So I can tell you, in the last 40 years, we had around about 4.6 to 4.7% increasing every year. We had a bull run in the last years. That's how it is. 10%, 12%, 15%, 20% each year, whatever. But let's calculate with low percentages. First percentage, I took 2%. And the second percentage, I calculated with 4%. So with 4%, it would look like a little bit, it would be a little bit better for you. If you buy it for 250,000 euros today, after 10 years, either 304,000 or 370,000 euros. Now, the question is, you don't buy the real estate today, and you take the loan from the bank, but also on the other side, you don't just wait for the increasing of the value, but on the other side, you pay down the loan, or not you, but most of the money the tenant pays. So the remaining loan would look like this. We have 250,000. I took the current numbers, 4.5% of interest charge and 1.5% of down payment. So the EMI would be 1,250 euros. After 10 years, you would have a remaining loan of around about 203,000 euros. Now it comes to the calculation. First option, let's take the number of 2%, 304,700 euros. Oops. 304,700 euros. And the remaining loan, it will stay the same if it goes up by 2% or 4%. It always stays, it's the same amount of money. So 203,000. So after 10 years, your profit, or between the new value, if you sell it, you have to pay back the remaining loan on the other side to the bank. The profit would be 101,700 euros after 10 years with only 2%. I know in the beginning you had to pay 25,000 if you do this with a real estate agent, for example, or if you have to pay this from your pocket, if you don't take it from the bank. But at the end, you have a profit of 101,700 euros, and you don't have to pay any cent of tax for this profit. Let's see with 4%, 370,000 euros minus the same amount of money, 203,000 euros, would be 167,000 euros of profit. So you see, maybe some of you joined last webinar. If not, Alicia can send you the recording, or maybe you can see it somewhere. I don't know. But the last webinar we talked about ETFs and real estate for investment. What's the difference, and how? Where do we earn more money? And I explain it in detail. And why do we earn more money with real estate for investment? Okay. But it's another topic. You see, it's not only that we get a tax return during the 10 years or during the 50 years in a row, but also if you would like to sell it after 10 years, you don't have to pay any tax. But the question is, how does it look like with an own home? I can tell you, because you live in this real estate, all these numbers, all these expenses, you cannot declare, because you don't do money with this real estate. It's not like a business. It's not like a company. You own this real estate, you live in this real estate, so it's your fault. Okay, it's a little bit hard what I said, but there are some advantages too. I mean, in real estate where you live in, it's always an emotional thing. Yeah, you always you don't have to pay any rent to the landlord, whatever. The expenses we cannot declare. There's no depreciation which we can declare to the government. Also, but on the other side, if you would buy in real estate a new building, if you would buy a new building, if you would build a new home, if you would restore something from the ground on, you could get some subvention from the government. This is the other side. Okay, this is what you could get. Maybe a lower loan from the bank because you build a new home or you restore something from the bottom up. Then there's some subvention. But if you buy in real estate and you move into the real estate and the real estate is 5 or 10 years, there's no tax advantages at all, no subvention at all. But there's another rule. An own home you can sell after 3 years tax-free. This is the difference. Own home after 3 years, in real estate for investment after 10 years, but you see, or you saw, after 10 years or within real estate for investment, this is something you use as an item, like an iPhone or whatever, because you do business with it. You can you have a tax return during the 10 years. Right from the beginning. I never say there's like never buy a real estate and live in the real estate. There's no
real estate గురించి ఏదో చెప్తున్నారు ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ కాదు.
Pardon? Somebody said something. I would never say don't buy in real estate and live in the real estate. It's always an emotional thing, but I think, and this is what I show in the consultation, in the individual consultation, what's the best strategy to buy an own home? Because we don't only help people to buy in real estate for investment to earn money, but we also create strategies to get to the goal of an own home. Because an own home, if you have a family, it's always a big goal to have an own home in Germany. The question is, what's the best strategy? And now imagine, just imagine, I will draw you like a picture, and I hope you will never forget this picture. Imagine you buy 2 real estate for investment today, 2023. You buy the 2 real estates and you wait a little bit with your own home. And because of the need in Germany, and the prices go up, we never know, 2%, 3%, 4%, maybe 6%, we never know. But the 100% safe number is that the loan goes down. Because the tenant, or you and the tenant, you as an owner, you pay back the loan. So you will always do like a profit. Now imagine you buy 2 real estate, and at this point, after 5 years, after 10 years, you want to buy an own home. Now, there's a rule in Germany, and as I said, in an individual consultation, I always explain it in detail. Why do we have this situation? But I can tell you there's a rule in Germany. The difference between the value and the remaining loan. This is something what the bank takes as a security for the next investment. So now imagine you bought 2 real estates, and we saw after 10 years, we had an average or minimum of 100,000 euros with only 1 real estate. Let's take 80,000, and the rule is, because it's in real estate, the bank never takes 100% of the difference, but the bank takes between 70 and 80%. So let's take the 70% would be 56,000 euros for 1 real estate. 70%. And we take it times 2, So we have altogether 112,000 euros. This is something what the banks takes as a security for the next investment. So first of all, if you buy in real estate for investment, before you buy an own home, you can produce or you can make profit with the difference between the remaining loan and the value. You can take the safety, you can take the security out of these real estates, and you can buy an own home better with better conditions, higher price, and maybe you can take more than the 100% from the bank. So now imagine you bought in 5 years or in 6, 7 years. You don't have to sell the real estate for investment. Now you buy in real estate for your own as an own home, and you keep the real estate and you live in this real estate. And you think about, okay, how can I manage it to pay back the loan for my own home a little bit faster? There's one option. One option, or the first option, would be you produce cash flow with the two real estates. I'm going to show you how. I'm in an individual consultation, okay? It's really easy to produce cash flow, but let's say we produce cash flow after 10 years of 200 euros and 200 euros. You can take the 200 euros, you can pay back the own home a little bit faster because you increase the down payment at the bank. Or the second option would be you sell one real estate, you take the profit and you pay back the own home faster. So it's always a better strategy to buy in real estate for investment, wait a little bit, produce some value or produce some profit, and then buy in real estate for an own home. If you buy an own home and then buy in real estate for investment, it's a little bit harder because an own home is always like a liability for the bank. Okay? So I will never say don't buy an own home, but I will show you how the strategy. How do we get, with your numbers, how do we get a little bit faster, a little bit better, a little bit secure, like more safe, maybe pay back the own home a little bit faster in the future.
Yeah, because there are many people, like, especially like, and I know here that it's the end goal, because this webinar is about wealth building, and this is what we do also as professionals. But for many people, like, wealth building is important, but the main goal is to feel safe, to have an own home, etc. What is also like beautiful, and yeah, I like that strategy. So it's like, it's good. Yeah, it's a bit harder to do, but it's like realistic, just a little bit harder.
That's how it is. Yeah. So if you have any question about what I showed you about tax, you can go ahead. I mean, we had some question already.
Should I start from, I will start from scratch. There's like, I think the most difficult question is the first question. Hello. That's for me. Yes, this is, yeah, would gains from ETFs that invest in gold, metal and not equity, are also tax-free, or this is only for solid metal?
Solid metal. It's only for solid metal.
Exactly. Yeah. You have, for example, well, there is like different ways to buy gold. You have, for example, you can buy gold through certificates, because many people buy gold through ETFs or to shares or mutual funds, because it's cheaper and more accessible for everyone to go into the gold game. But then it's not tax-free. It's only tax-free if you work with a company that sells you certificates that is not directly physical gold, but you have the access, if you want in the future, to physical gold. Then it's tax-free only, like Samuel mentioned. Only if there's the option to gain in the future the physical gold after a year. If it's just a trading with ETFs, because there are gold ETFs, to enter the gold game faster, there's no tax advantage. Yeah. I hope I answered that, and I will also leave you my email address. You can ask me, like, if I'm not answering that good, you have to say, again, Alicia, More specific. Okay. Is there a way to invest in ETF and stock in some offshore country to avoid crazy taxation? I don't know. Like, I wish. I wish it's the opposite sometimes.
Somebody wants to hide some profit from the Finanzamt in Germany.
Actually, so we have the opposite. I do not know this loopholes. I can say that I experienced the opposite with my clients. Sadly, we had clients that wanted to bring like equity and money from the existing mutual funds, for example, from India, and they had to tax it in Germany. And it was much higher. So, but there are ways for sure, like to bring the money step by step, or little by little. But if we talk about like higher sums that have a higher alert, you have to tax them in Germany, because I experienced that with clients. Do you have another experience, Samuel?
I think it's always a question about how much do we talk about, how much money do you want to invest? I think I know there are some strategies how to reduce the taxation. It's, as I said, it's always about we can talk about this topic in an individual consultation. There are a lot of strategies.
Gray man.
Pardon?
You're the gray man, gray zone.
No. No, it's we never want to explain some illegal investment, never. And as I said, you can Google everything what we are talking about. But I think it's a good, if you have money to invest and you want to reduce your taxation, to find a good expert for this, it's really hard, because a lot of tax consultants in Germany, I mean, they study at the government, and I think there are different, better ways to reduce the taxation.
Yes, agree. Same, I feel the same. Why we're not paying taxes on rental income?
You always pay tax on rental income, as you see, or as you saw. I took the rental income on the left side. I mean, I calculated it like an income. So we calculated every income. Okay.
Yeah.
If you would not mention any expenses, I mean, it would be really not smart. But if you would not mention any expenses, you would have to pay for the rental income. That's how it is. But the good thing is you can mention all the expenses, so it will reduce your tax guilt. And as you saw, I mentioned that the rental income on the left side of the calculation.
Then
what about Hausgeld? Can that be included in these expenses too? The question is, what is Hausgeld? Hausgeld is the side cost of an real estate of the tenant, and also the side cost of the owner. This together, this is Hausgeld. This is something which you have to pay to the management. So it always depends on, is it in real estate for investment or real estate for an own home? Real estate for investment, the part of the management cost, the part of the bank account fee, the part of the management costs, these are the biggest parts. This is what I mentioned with the 60 euros times 12 months, 720 euros. This is what I mentioned with management. But the biggest part of the Hausgeld are the side costs which the tenant uses, like water, heating, housekeeping, for example, the insurance for the building. This is what you cannot declare.
Okay. You want to read the next question, Samuel? It's also for you.
What if both are working and buy a property? Are there additional consideration for tax savings? Would be able to change the tax class? Honestly, I'm not a tax consultant, but there are a few different, let's say, for the tax declaration after buying in real estate. Before, for the side cost, like the tax for the property, they don't like, it's a fixed number. They don't care if you're married or if you're single. But for the tax declaration afterwards, after buying a real estate for investment, yes, it influences which tax class you are. Yeah, but this is something we can talk about in consultation, and we can figure out what's the best way.
Question. Thank you, Rajesh, for this question. Okay. Then, yeah, are there any additional tax or otherwise benefits to buying property as a company can be have as opposed to an individual? That's a very interesting question too. Like we have
now the big questions come. Yeah, that's
good, but people are growing. It's the next step. Good.
It's always a question, and what's the goal with the real estate for investment? Is it a goal to buy it today, keep it, let's say 3-4 years, and then sell it? If you buy it as an GmbH, then the profit which you do with this real estate after 3 or 4 years is only 15%. Okay, plus 2% of Solidaritätszuschlag. But the question is, what's the goal with the GmbH? Do you want to buy more and more and more and more? But then you also have to pay only 15% for the rental income. On the other side, if you want to sell it after 10 years, it's not tax free. You always have to pay tax for the real estate or for the profit which you do. So it's always a question: what's the goal? Do you want to keep it? Do you want to sell it? It's always individual. And yeah, if you want to own more than 1 or 2 or 3, let's say 10 real estates, then there are some nice strategies how to do this within GmbH, within holding, within vermögensverwaltende GmbH. But these are points, yeah, and it makes sense after a few real estates for investment.
Oh, we're out of questions. So sad. I like the questions. They were very good. Is it good to buy a house or apartment? Sorry, is it good to buy a house or apartment to gain the max taxes?
Is the question the difference between house and apartment, or how should I understand this?
Okay, exactly. Is it good to buy a house or an apartment? Exactly. Is there like a difference? Like,
No.
What brings it? It's about the price, I guess, right?
I can tell you what's the it's always what can you afford? If you can afford more than just one apartment, and if you can afford a house, for the taxes, it's always the same tax, like the 2% and 50 years, for example. And the tax declaration or the calculation which I did, which I showed you, there's only one difference. If you buy in real estate for investment, and you buy this real estate, and the real estate, the building year is before 1925, like 1924, 1918, then you have 2.5% of depreciation. If you buy in Denkmalgeschütz, for example, they're 7, 8, 9%. So it always depends on the building year. Okay, this is what I could mention before, but yeah, most of the real estates we sell or which we offer, they're later than 1925. So
yeah, better.
there are some advantages and there are some disadvantages. So, but for it's one difference. What I yeah.
Another question that is pretty good and also pretty common, like regarding the blue card, etc. If you have like a blue card and it has 4 years valid, is there like a chance with the loan? Like, what do you think? 4 years validation?
I will never promise something, but I can tell you what's happened in the last months. We did it a few times. So we had a few clients which got a loan from the bank with only a blue card. So it's possible. I would always try it, and I got some banks. If you would ask me this half of a year ago, or let's say 1 year ago, I would say wait until the PR or the German passport. But right now, it takes a little bit more time, but it's possible. Yeah,
Yes.
it's possible. It always depends on your salary, your monthly calculation. Do you have any private loan? Do you have children? Are you married and you both earn together? But yeah, as I said, it's always a try.
Yes.
I can tell you this is what we did in the past.
And I have also to mention that there was no financial disadvantage because you have a blue card versus like a PR. Like there's no like, oh, I have to pay like more percentage. So this is the experience. Either it works or it doesn't work. It was like more about like what is the financial situation of the person, like the individual one. So not having kids is like, it's not good. We have to talk about that, like, okay, what is good and what is not good. So because yeah, kids cost money. So
you have to know the bank always they do always a monthly calculation. What's the income, what's the expense? If you have at the end of the month or at the end of the calculation, if there's a positive number included with the loan for the bank, included the rent of the real estate for investment, if there's a positive number, then it's possible. So it always depends on the income and always depends on the expenses. The last question is the best question I can answer you. You have to be the best student in this year of a lawyer. Then the government will write to you. Are you interested? And then you have to go to a qualification. And if you got the qualification, it's not just easy to be a notary. A notary, you can be a notary if some other notaries retire or if they die or if the city grows. So it's not just to get a qualification or to be a lawyer and but yeah, notaries, they earn good money. That's how it is.
it is.
And they drive good cars. That's how it is.
I have good card. Thank you for the question. I have yes, like was für ein Strapazzer, not like recording everything, but I have an idea. I will do it again on my own after this call, and then I will cut it together. So yes.
But these are, I mean, it could be a question from my side.
Yeah.
But I hope I could answer this too.
Yes, of course. And for everyone who like wants a personal situation that we look into, like the wealth building part, how to get an own home, how to like make tax savings with real estate or with other tools, just digest the webinar. Let me know, write me a PM, write me an email, and we will make a meeting then with Samuel or with my own. Oh, wait, there's another question. We have time? Samuel, yes, come on.
Any strategy? Okay, Alicia, do you want to read?
No, it's all yours.
To open the Kündigungsgeld, short-term savings account. Again, I have to read again. Any strategy to negotiate with the bank to open the Kündigungsgeld? What do you mean with Kündigungsgeld?
I think maybe I'll provide the context. So I plan to construct a house and I took the loan. And normally, I think they'll give 1 year for the loan, this interest-free period. And after that, I need to pay, if I don't use the money, I had to pay the Bereitzinsen.
Yes.
So, as my construction is going to get delayed, so can I negotiate with bank to open this kind of, short-term account, Kündigungsgeld konto, so that we can put the amount intended for house construction there and put a barrier that I don't use the money for other purposes except for house construction, so that I can earn some interest on this. And for example, if I am paying 1,000 euro as Bereitzinsen, maybe I earn 500 euro interest, and it can help me. So do you think the banks would agree or?
But where do you get this interest?
So I think in this Kündigungsgeld short-term savings account, they put the interest, it seems.
Yeah, but is it high like this? Or this is actually a question I never got, but this is I have a very good bank manager and he could answer this for sure. If you want, we can connect, and then you can
Okay.
ask him. He could answer this, but this is something would go. It's a little bit too deep into.
Okay, Samuel.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you.
As I
If
said,
you have- I will write you for everyone. Let me like my email address, because many I know you, most of you, but for people who don't have my email address, you can ask me all questions. We try like to answer them like as a team as soon as possible, because it's such a big topic, etc. Yeah.
I have a quick question, if time permits, a very quick one.
Yes.
Yes. So, if you if someone is buying a property in Germany and that property is for investment, and as you know that every bank has a Sondertilgung, so you can return the loan back to the bank in a faster way. The problem is if you use the Sondertilgung, you somehow reduce the interest costs, right, which are deductible in the taxation return that you showed, right, as Werbekosten or as a business that you can deduct it. So Simon, a particular question for you probably is, what is the best strategy? Should we use the Sondertilgung, because the Sondertilgung somehow, is increasing your tax level, or should we not use it?
Okay. First of all, about Sondertilgung, if you know how this works, it's good. I would my question, my answer. I don't know how old you are. Yeah, I would say I would never do a Sondertilgung within real estate for investment, because time and inflation works for you. Okay, so take the money and buy the next one.
Okay, yeah,
this is my.
That's a good suggestion.
It's my simple question, my simple answer. Sorry, but and I could calculate it in a way with you together, easy. I could calculate it. What happens with the Sondertilgung? How does it reduce the period of time? How does it influence the interest charge? How does it influence the tax? This is in calculation, a little bit bigger the calculation. But I could do this with you. It's easy, but there are better ways. For example, take the money, invest it in another asset, or maybe invest it in the next real estate instead of paying down. Especially if you bought in real estate with an interest charge of under 2% or 3%. It always depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Thanks for the answer.
Of course. I'm very grateful for this round. It was very nice. It was very informative as always, Samuel. Like every time we talk, it keeps blowing my mind. Every time there's something like new to discover, especially in finance, a little thing. And yeah, thank you very much. If you
hope you enjoyed, and yes. I hope you don't regret the time at Thursday evening, but the weather is not that good, so
exactly.
It's always a good investment to take some information. Yeah,
exactly.
The best investment, the best asset is yourself. Yeah, like your brain. That's the best investment.
That's true. Knowledge is power. Yes. Then thank you very much. I will also, if you want, thank you, Nadia. If you want to have the recording, also let me know. I will share it with you if you want to watch it again, or you want to see again the calculations. If you want to share it with friends, I will also upload that on YouTube and also keep you updated via LinkedIn.
Very good. Thank you, Alicia, for the organization. It was really good. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one.
Of course. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you. Have an amazing evening. Now dinner time. By the way, what is your name, M270587? It's no name. I don't know who you are.
I wrote in a message to you, Alicia. No, I provided my Gmail. Yeah.
Oh, completely. Yeah, I saw it. Okay. I said, thank you so much. I didn't see it. Now I have it.
Okay.
Thank you.